Okay, we're going to have a quick look at the Bose SoundDock portable power supply. These are generally quite reliable power supplies, but they do suffer from a number of simple problems which you can fix on your own. You don't need to contact me or us to get this fixed. You can just have a quick look at this yourself and you might be able to determine what's wrong with it. So I'm just going to give you a quick run over of what it does and the common things that happen. So we've got the power supply here. It's got the reel or captive holder for the cable, so unwind the cable fully from the holder, and then you can see that's the basic power supply here. Okay, so first thing to do is to remove the wall adapter. This is intended to be used worldwide, so it comes with a series of these which are constantly getting lost. We're always asked if we have any and we don't keep them, but if you remove the actual adapter, you can see underneath here are two spring clips, and these spring clips contact onto the actual active pins inside the connected to the pin socket. Okay, so that's these need to be in contact with those to make it work. And if I just zoom in for you, so there you can see one of the spring contacts, and this is the body. Here, this is where we are looking. We're looking, that's where the socket goes in. This is the pin, and you can see it doesn't bend that way, but it should be sprung loaded in that direction. And if the power supply has been dropped on the connector, then it can push through and bend this down and it will cease to make contact, so the electrical power from the mains won't be able to get through to these pin contacts. So make sure that little bit there is vertical, but perpendicular, you can see, to the surface. And if it's bent down this way, you might be able to push it back and just bend it back up again. Okay, and a sure sign that it's been the cause of an issue is that you'll see some arcing and some pitting on the top of these where they've been sparking across to the contacts on the other side of the sockets here. So make sure these are clean. These look good, don't they? You can see the mark where it's been in contact. Can you see that dimpling there? So it's been in permanent contact. It's not been an issue with this one, so that's not the problem for us, but for you, you should check it. So let's just slot that back on there and zoom out. Again. And the next thing to do is check this. You can see the strain relief where the cable comes out the body of the power supply. There's often a stress point there. This stress relief isn't really the idea of stress relief, that it will bend with the cable and support it around the curve until the cable is pulled in the new direction. This, you can see, is not a stress release. This is just a rubber bush, and it's fairly cheap, not particularly flexible 2-core cable inside there, and it just fractures. So look there and see. And if you plug this into the wall, plug the other end into your dock, if you push that way, push there and twist it, you can sometimes hear it going beep 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 and starting up again, in which case you've got an issue with this part of the cable, and this can be repaired. Or, you know, it's a simple cable repair. You don't need us to do it. You need someone who knows how to use a soldering iron and a bit of heat shrink and's got half a brain. So we're kind of half in lockdown in the UK at the moment, so you could fix that yourself. And of course the other thing is to inspect the whole cable to make sure it's not been shut in a door, there's no breaks or cuts, or very often rabbits. You wouldn't believe how many rabbit-chewed power supply wires. You can see here, look. Can you see that? Can you see the twist of the cable inside? Something's happened to the cable here. It feels okay, but again, wiggling it often will make the contact, and then you'll end up with a beeping dock again, so you can actually determine if it's a cable. Now, going all the way to the plug, you've checked the cable all the way along to the plug. This is the plug. There's the bobble that holds it into the cable reel. That stops it coming unwound in your suitcase and getting wrapped in your toys. Anyway, pull the cable through and go up to this point here, and you can see that this strain relief again is not really relieving the strain on the cable. This overmolded flexible section should really come all the way down to where the cable is actually pulling in its new direction. So you can see you've got a stress point there, just here, and you can quite often feel the cable pulling. This one's okay, but if you plug this into the unit and push that direction on the cable and move it around, you can often hear it beeping, and it might be, if there's something obvious and wrong with that joint there, then it's probably that part of the cable that's gone. So again, somebody with a soldering iron, you know, might be able to fix it for you. Okay. Now the final thing is this plug. Now Bose wouldn't obviously use a standard plug. It wouldn't be in their nature to make anything easy or replaceable. So they've used a custom plug. This is a custom diameter plug, and I'll just measure it for you in case you can find an alternative. It's 5.5 millimeters on the outer barrel, and I've got a bunch of drill selections here, so I can tell you that this one is the best fit. Okay, that's the actual pin. There's no play there, it's pushed in, and that pin, internal pin diameter, the barrel diameter inside, is 2.8 millimeters. Okay, so it's a 2.8 millimeter barrel with a 5.5 millimeter plug. It's a custom. Okay, no one else makes it. Now the trouble is that they've used a very bad quality connector into the back of the SoundDock for the DC power, and it's not really plated or protected. It's not a high quality metal finish, and if this gets pulled slightly you can end up with bad connections on the inside. Now one of the other things that happens is that this gets generally fairly corroded and grease and dirt, and of mine coating of oxide. So if you just get a piece of paper, now ordinary photocopier paper has got minerals in, and the minerals act like a very fine abrasive. Okay, so you can polish things with ordinary photocopier paper. I'm not talking about toilet paper, I'm talking about the stuff that's got the china clay in, and it makes a very good polishing agent. So if you just get hold of the barrel, this barrel gets dirty, so you can just twist, hold it tight, give it a really good polish. Okay, you can see. Okay, this one's quite clean, but others have got wet or damp. And likewise, if you just roll it into a small roll it into a small peg, and you can see this will go down there hopefully. Okay, so it goes down inside. Alright, now what I'm going to use, if I can find it, is isopropyl alcohol. So I'm just going to, is isopropanol or isopropyl alcohol, just put some in there and just clean it, just polish the inside. And it seems a trivial thing to do, but it's surprising how much difference this can make. It can actually solve the problem with the dock constantly beeping. Of course there might be an internal fault, but these are the first things that you should check when you have a SoundDock portable power supply issue. If it's been in your suitcase or something, this plug's been out and it's dropped down in some syrup on the side, you know, these docks are using all over the place, or some barbecue sauce, it's a problem. And there you go, you can see it's a little bit grotty, but that's how you check your power supply. And finally, if you do have a voltmeter, just to make sure the thing is functionally working and you suspect your dock, then you can plug the power supply into some power, which I'm just doing now. Set your meter to volts DC range, which is there. Put the black clip on the outside of the barrel here and the red on the inside of the barrel. And you can see if I turn off the lights now, if I turn them off, nominal 20 volts. Okay, so we've got 20.26, and it can be between 19 and 21, something like that. And that indicates that the power supply is working. And if I just wiggle all these cables, I'm not getting any change. If there was a bad connection, I'll get something like this happening as I wiggle it. I'm doing that manually because this one's okay, so that's fine. And then if I wiggle the cable where it goes into the power supply, which I'm doing now, again it's absolutely steady. Okay, so that power supply is working. But cleaning the connector often helps, because we get docks in that are playing up and they say it's beeping and it's not working and the charge is going off, and all that's wrong is that this is dirty. And of course you're going to have to clean the counterpart in the back of the dock, which is not quite so straightforward, but there's a separate video on that. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's how you have a quick check over the health of your SoundDock portable power supply. We can help with these. They don't generally fail very much, and when they do fail, they're usually, if there's electronic failures inside, it's usually been fallen in a swimming pool or rain, or it's been dropped and broken. So obviously inspect the case to make sure there's no cracks and dents and things in it. But yeah, SoundDock portable power supply, basic diagnostic check.